In this video, I'm going to show you my process on how I approach vocal tuning. But before we get started, my name is Ed. You're watching Stokes Sounds. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and leave a comment. And if you want to support the channel, head over to our website, stokessounds.com. Now let's dive in. So you'll see that I am in Logic and not in Pro Tools. And that's because I got sent this session. This is by an artist called Olivia Nicole. It's Defying Gravity from the musical or track Wicked. And basically, I'm going to show you kind of my approach on how I go about vocal tuning. Now, vocal tuning, I think, is a little bit kind of subjective in, how much you do, how transparent you want it to be, but it's a real skill in itself to vocal tune properly. There's vocal tuning and then there's like vocal tuning and auto-tune. And although auto-tune sounds great, today we're going to look at Melodyne, because to me that's transparent, and when it's an acoustic style rendition of a track, you don't want to have kind of a hard sounding tuned vocal because it just sounds unnatural. So it's about how you kind of approach it, and how less is more in this case in what I'm going to do to process the tuning on this vocal. But let's actually just listen to what Olivia's done. This is her recording, this is what she's given me, and we're just going to listen to it dry. I do have Melodyne printed in, but there is actually no Melodyne, that I haven't done anything. It's just been scanned into Melodyne just for purpose of this video. But if you just have a listen from, the intro, and we'll go to the end of the chorus and we'll see what we're working with. And then I'll go through my approach on how I tune vocals.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through it, playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down.
So you can hear that's the track. Sounds beautiful. It's very nicely recorded. Everything kind of just sounds nice. There's no distortion going on with the vocals. And I listened for all of this because, when I'm doing all of the RX and the declicking and just cleaning up the vocal to get it to sound really expensive, I like to say, they are all the things I think about. But if we actually approach the tuning, so, the first thing that I've done was to scan the vocal into the Melodyne, and this is basically Melodyne. This is what's been pulled up into it, and you can see all of her vibrato, but let's actually just go and tune it. Now this song is in C major. It has detected it correctly, so I'm leaving it at that. But the first thing I like to do when I do this is, you can see kind of where the vibrato is. You can see I need to cut there. So what I like to do is I just like to go through and I like to cut all of the vocal parts and all of the riffs where, she's kind of going up. See, there's one there. And I don't even need to kind of hear what I'm doing for this because I can just see it. Now, I know some people may argue and go, well, you need to hear it, and I will get onto that and I will hear it, but I'm just doing the kind of the technical aspects of what I need to do for the Melodyne to work in the way that I like it to work. So you can see I'm just going through it. And you can see these are like some of the slides into the notes. And then what I like to do, so once I've gone through all the cutting, which I've just done, I then like to highlight everything. And then I like to kind of go to around on the pitch center, around kind of 90-ish, and then on the pitch drift around 50. And that kind of just gives me like a middle ground where it's going to put everything into kind of a better place than it was. I may have to move some things, but then it just means that I can then go in and do manual editing. And by doing it not at 100 drift, it just enables me to have it a bit more natural, and it's not as kind of like auto-tuney, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my first approach. Now, obviously, Olivia's a good singer, so I haven't had to kind of snap it to the key. I've done it on purpose where I've gone to the note that it kind of should lean onto. Now, sometimes you may have to snap it to the key if it's meant to be on an A and it's falling onto an A flat. But because Olivia's, as I say, she's pretty good already, she's kind of already telling Melodyne where the note should be. She's not kind of too sharp or too flat. Like she's not 2 semitones off. She's, like half a semitone, if that, slightly off on certain areas. So it's pretty good at detecting it without having to snap it. And then what I like to do is I like to then just go through and listen to it manually and just hear where it's kind of a little bit flat or sharp, and just kind of massage it. Again, very, very light stuff, but I'm keeping it light because I want it to be natural.
Something has changed within me. Something has changed within me.
See here, I'm just going to split this up here slightly. It's a bit of a drift.
Something has changed. Something has changed within me.
You can see it's done it to the wrong one.
Changed within me. Something is not the same. It's not the same.
We can tighten up the vibrato.
Thing is not the same. I'm through it, playing by the by the rules of someone. Rules of someone. Rules of someone else's game.
You can see there just from that little bit, Melodyne has, naturally kind of when I did the kind of the auto thing by, putting it to the pitch center, it's done a lot of it there. What I'm doing here is just kind of finessing what Melodyne has already done. Like you saw this note here.
The rule.
That it landed originally there and it was slightly sharp, so I've just kind of tucked it in. I haven't made it bang on zero. It's just kind of within that C, but just ever so slightly off. But again, it just keeps it that natural kind of glide between the way that she sang it, because you want to keep the intention of the singer, you want to keep it how they kind of were singing it, but just with a little bit of help. So that's why I'm just finessing it ever so slightly.
Rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guess.
Second guesses. You can see the S it used to be there.
Second guessing. For second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep.
You can see here, I'm going to leave that. She sings slightly under the note on sleep, but it's natural. If it was auto-tune, it would bang it on the note, and that's not what I want to do. I want to keep everything just natural.
To sleep, it's time to trust. Time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes. Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying cry. Gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity.
You'll find that a lot of singers, when they're singing high, they'll be flat. And then when they're singing low, they'll tend to be sharp. They'll tend to be above the note. You've got to listen to it and use your ears, but you can also kind of take an educational guess. When she's singing kind of a higher up note, up the top, that she's probably going to sing just under it. A lot of singers do. I've had the occasional where some singers are quite sharp on it, but usually if I'm just talking in a general way, a generic way, singers will sing a little bit kind of under the note when they're singing high, and then when they're singing in the bottom of the range of their kind of vocals, they'll sing slightly sharp. So I kind of have always thought that when I'm processing tuning vocals, if I'm not sure what I'm kind of going for, if my ears aren't telling me, or the melody's slightly different, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to get it right if you kind of follow that method. I'm not saying that there's a definite method that's going to work, but within that it kind of does, using that method can help.
I hear gravity kiss me goodbye. I'm defying.
Perfect one. Defying. I know that it's meant to be there.
I hear gravity, and you won't bring me down, 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 down. You won't bring me down, down, me down. I'm through accepting limits, through accepting limits, 'cause someone says this so.
Lots of vibrato on that. Tighten it a bit.
So says this so. Something.
Here's a bit of a slide. We can push that up.
Some things I cannot change, but still I try.
See, this is an interesting one. You can see with the vibrato, it kind of is on the B, but the blob is on the B flat. So you can't always just look at the blobs. It's not about centering, those yellow blobs. It's about kind of where does the vibrato land, and that kind of stuff. So you can see that maybe if we cut this, we can kind of tighten this up slightly. Now we could either put it on the A or it could be on the B. Let's have a listen.
Change. Some things I cannot change, but cannot change, but see.
Sounds good to me.
But still I try. Still I try. Still I try.
You can see here she goes to a G flat to a G. So what we can do is we can use the pitch drift.
Try.
Just center it slightly.
Still I try. I'll never know.
Now that's changed things there. Let's see what that's done. Let's just reset that.
No.
Not sure what's happened there, but we can.
No.
Straight away, that's better as soon as I cut it. Again, leave it natural. Don't cut everything up too much.
No. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. I guess I've lost.
See, she kind of goes up. Again, we're just going to cut it where she goes up.
Guess I've lost. Love, I guess I've lost. I've lost. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes. That's love, it comes at much too high. It goes as soon by defying gravity.
I'm going to straighten it up.
Gravity Kiss me goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'm defying gravity.
You can see here, again, I haven't cut the gravity because, you know, the natural vibrato da-da-da is kind of staying there. And because it's an acoustic style track, I don't want it to be robotic. So I'm leaving those kind of imperfections. The imperfections is what makes it kind of perfect and kind of, I know that sounds contradicting, but that's what's creating that kind of realism when you're hearing it. You know, it doesn't sound tuned, but it is tuned, that kind of thing.
Gravity, I think I'll try defying gravity, and you won't bring me down, and you won't bring me down. Woo, woo, woo.
She goes slightly down. Let's just cut that end part. And that sounds good to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check kind of what I've done and just make sure everything kind of sounds good to me.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave. And leave. And leave.
Spotted a mistake, yeah, so that's right. And I'm just going to use this kind of smoothing out tool. I don't know what it's called, but this kind of tool here, the yellow thing, it kind of just smooths out the transition between the notes, so it doesn't sound like it's so like da da, it's like da da, that kind of thing going on.
And leave. It's time to try defying gravity.
Define in that in, I could be a little bit tighter.
Gravity, I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down.
Sounding good to me. Let's have a keep listening.
I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says this. Cause someone says this so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love, I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. As soon by defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you won't bring me down. Woo, woo, woo.
That sounds good to me. So that's kind of the first way that I would do this. So then after I've done that, I'm then going to listen to just the guitars and the lead vocal only without the backing vocals, and just kind of hear, where we got to, how that sounds.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through it, playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says this so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love, I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. As soon by defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you won't bring me down. Woo, woo, woo.
So that sounds good to me. There was a couple of things I just want to just check. That just sounds tighter to me. So, that's kind of like my approach and how I vocal tune. You can see it's very minimal. I'm not doing too much. It's very easy to kind of over process when it comes down to Melodyne. The modulation tool is an amazing tool, but it's also very dangerous, because if you kind of add too much, take the modulation down and you make it less vibrato, it then does sound like T-Pain. If that's what you're going for, then that's great, and it's a creative thing. But, to me, if I'm doing that, I would use autotune. Melodyne to me is just subtle kind of massaging the tuning kind of up and down, and just feel it where it feels right kind of to you and your ears. And I always feel like sometimes, you will vocal tune on one day and then you'll redo it the next day, because you'll be like, oh, I'm not sure in that tuning, and then you'll start again. But it's so easy to overthink it, and that's kind of why I move so quick. You saw there, I just tuned a lead vocal in however long it took. But again, I wasn't overthinking, I was at the right note. I was just kind of, cutting up the blobs, the yellow blobs that I call them, the transitions between each note, so cut them up. And then just to recap, I then kind of go up to the automatic thing. I don't snap to chord scale, because sometimes it does just get it wrong, especially if there's like a dominant chord in a song or something, and it doesn't quite fit just one key. So I tend to leave that off, and usually if they're good singers and they're kind of hit the mark within the semitone or off pitch, by just leaving that off and just increasing the pitch center will usually get it pretty 95% there. And then once I do that, pitch drift up 50%. That's again just to give the vocal a little bit more confidence and a little bit kind of more kind of controlled on the vibrato, I want to say. And then after that, that's when I just go in very lightly and I just fix things where it's either the Melodyne's done it wrong, or, you know, the singer could have just been pushed up a little bit more to the center position of the note. So, you know, it's just a complete push and pull thing, vocal tuning. As I say, it is a real skill. You know, some singers I will spend, you know, a good 2 hours tuning vocals on. Other singers, as you saw this one, more like 5 minutes. And I'll do the same process for backing vocals. And it, you know, it's the same kind of thing. You know, if we look at here, we can just do the first backing vocal. We can scan it in, you know, Melodyne.
It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity.
So that's like a third below. So, you know, again, the same kind of thing. I'll just do what I did. Go to the start of this. And then we just go and cut, you know, the different notes where it's obvious in the vibrato. I mean, Olivia did do a fantastic job at singing this, so it does help. I won't lie. Again, you can see it needs to cut there and go up there. And then do that, highlight everything up to around kind of 90, 50, doesn't have to be exact. And then let's just have a listen.
Leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity. Gravity. Gravity.
Then what I do is once I've done that, because they're backing vocals, I then actually do whack them to 100, just because I want it just bang on. But I just make sure that I do the 50 first just to get the center cuts in, and then I'll go from there. If we now have a listen with the lead vocal.
And leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity. And you won't. I'm defying. I'm defying. I'm defying
See if that sounds better.
gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity.
That sounds good to me. So if we just solo the guitars now with the lead and that center backing vocal, the third below.
And leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down.
And that is how I approach tuning vocals. And, you know, as you see, I'll do, you know, the same Melodyne for all of the backing vocals. And, you know, it does take a while to do everything. You know, if you've got a pop track with 100 tracks in, it's going to take you a while, but it's so important to get the tuning right. There are, of course, genres where you don't want to use vocal tuning, but I would say in a lot of modern pop stuff and, you know, just modern day recording, there kind of isn't much flexibility when it comes down to tuning, because everything is so tuned in time, especially on radio, that when you then A/B it with something that isn't, you know, there is quite a dramatic difference. Some people prefer it, some people don't, but it just is what it is. But that's kind of how I approach vocal tuning. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment. I'll get back to all of your questions that you may have, and I'll see you all again next week for another video.